So hello everybody, my name is Tereza and I'm management coordinator within a integrated life project called One Nature for short, because actually the real name is really long, so I decided I'm not gonna torture you with that. And I've got my colleague Jonas, who will tell you a little bit about some of the monitoring we are doing and other tools we are using. But to start off, we are a very large project. We were the first integrated project in Czech Republic. Right here is a little bit about the project itself. As you can see, we are working from 2019 until 2026. The main coordinating beneficiary is the Ministry of Environment, but we are doing most of the practical work, I would say, as a nature conservation agency. I should have probably said that all of us who are here during this seminar, we are from Nature Conservation Agency. But we do have actually a few other partners, mostly from the academic circles. And they do some of the things that I personally don't really understand very much, because I feel more comfortable within the practical management field. The total budget is actually pretty nice and chunky, but we do have to contribute as well ourselves quite a lot. So our main objective is basically to establish a more efficient management system for all the Natura 2000 sites. We are in Czech Republic, but we are starting with the ones that are in our jurisdiction, let's say, the ones that we are looking after as the Nature Conservation Agency. But the idea is that once we do properly design those tools, we would like them to be applicable within the entire Natura 2000 site network in Czech Republic. As you can see, it's fairly ambitious, because we are working with over 3,000 unique combinations of target features and Natura 2000 sites. I'm not going to try to say all those numbers, because you can just see. Right. The main tools we are using, because we are trying to approach this on an evidence-based level. So we are using an assessment of the status and trends of target features. We are planning our management and prioritize, and then we do the management itself. And we are using we work a lot with landowners and the land users, and that's a big part of what we do as well, because loads of the work we do, loads of the land in Natura 2000 sites is privately owned, and so we are developing some tools to help us work with public. And I think I will just hand over to Jonas at the moment, because he will tell you a little bit more in depth about the main tool we are using.
So, thank you. Hi. The main idea behind the project and improving the state of the target features is all based on the adaptive management cycle, which is really something quite intuitive and simple. But it basically means that we try to improve the state of features by trying and analyzing what works and ditching what doesn't, and applying what worked and going all over again and again to reach the favorable status for each species or habitat within the network. So in the context of our project and really each site, this means that we monitor the state of the species or habitat, then we use a framework to evaluate the state, so favorable, unfavorable or declining. Then we plan the management that we think, based on the published research and our own experience, which is likely to work and improve the status. And based on the current funding and resources, we prioritize for the sites, species and habitats that are most in need of implementing the management. Then we implement the management, that's the fun part. And then again we repeat. We monitor the status and go over and over till we reach a favorable status of the target feature. To evaluate the effectivity or effectiveness of the management, we use this very simple matrix when we compare the evaluation of the target feature status and the fulfilling of the management plan. And based on that, we decide whether we should adjust the management and we either carry on with the management we wanted to implement, or we find out that we need to actually start fulfilling the management plan, or we find out that we need to review the management plan because the management we implemented was either insufficient or really over the top. We didn't need to invest all the resources to improve the species status. So to start with the monitoring, we, as Tereza mentioned, monitor all the habitats, species and species of animals and plants listed in the Annex 2 for all the nature conservation agencies areas we have. So yeah, as you are probably all aware of, the species and habitats are chosen to be an umbrella or flagship species to help to conserve all the habitats. And yeah, here are two of my colleagues monitoring the Rosalia longicon in the east of the Czech Republic. And we also try to use as much data-driven and evidence-based science. So here you can see the results of one of the preliminary analysis of habitat use, which is what we believe very important for conserving the species and planning the right management practice for each territory. For the monitoring, we use several important data sources. So one of them is the species occurrence database. This is a map of distribution of the stag beetle, Lucanus cervus. And you can really see it's quite widespread. And all this is based on many records of the species within the protected landscapes and in the open landscapes. So it looks in detail something like this. So this is a aerial photo of Prague, and all the red dots and red polygons are the records of the beetle we have for Prague. So that's actually a protected site in the center of Prague. So if you come to Prague in June, you are likely to find one or few specimens around there. So this is important because we know where the species is distributed, and at the same time, when we monitor the species, we are trying to gather as much information as we can about its ecology, so about the state of its environment. And we also combine this with a habitat mapping database where we monitor and map all the natural habitats in the Czech Republic. So this gives us the information about the state and quality and distribution of the species' preferred habitat. We then apply a range of algorithms to combine these, integrate, and if there are any R geeks, I hope you appreciate that this all runs in R at this moment. To quickly illustrate this, I will use the Phengaris nausithous, the dusky large blue. There are some of the species and habitat parameters we use to analyze the state. So, say for this site, we monitor the species present. It's present, so it's fine. We monitor the food plant abundance on a relative scale. That should be at least abundant. Here it's insufficient. We use GIS analysis to analyze the size of the preferred habitat on the site. In this case, again, sadly insufficient. We monitor the habitat destruction, threats and pressures as listed by the committee. The management, that is very important for many butterfly species, well, all of them, and then the fact whether there was targeted management run or not. This should then result into updating the management targets. So in this case, increase the preferred habitat area and food plot availability. We do something very similar for habitats. So just to quickly illustrate, this is a map of distribution of the habitat within a SAC. And we also list all the invasive and expansive species. That's the red and black dots. So to sum up the gray theory, we really use an idea that every good farmer, I would say, have used for hundreds of years. So now for the fun part, the management.
Yeah. Cheers. You didn't really leave me that much time, but I will try. Run through it really quickly. I'm really sorry. Well, this is the bit that actually relates to what this seminar is about, because we, apart from managing all of the sites across Czech Republic, we also focus on bringing back some of the traditional woodland management, which in Czech Republic was coppicing or pollarding, and also the woodland pasture. The system is a little bit different than what you guys are doing here, but the aim is basically the same. Again, we are trying to use evidence-based planning and evidence-based conservation approach. So we implement and evaluate all those managements, and we monitor before and after. This is just to kind of illustrate what all we do, and what we observe. We are trying to see its effects on local biodiversity and the target features. We want to evaluate the practicality and applicability, and also the sustainability. Because it's very important to say that loads of the woodland is either privately owned or state-owned, but it falls under the Ministry of Agriculture. And we are trying to find a way to prove that those practices are sustainable, and we would like to offer them to landowners and woodland owners as an alternative for the traditional, more traditional or conventional woodland management. So these are the sites, and just kind of work in progress. That's for the coppicing. This is what we are, that's already on the go, and here are a few sites that we chosen for the woodland pasture. I'm not gonna go in depth because I don't really have time, but we are about to start. I just have to kind of say that site, we did actually a little bit of veteranization there as well, with a bunch of arborists being let loose in the woods and having loads of fun. Here is just a bit of before and after, and we did, well, before actually, and we did kind of try to pick sites where we knew that this sort of management was used historically. Some pictures. And I thought I would show you a little bit just what we do apart from the pollarding and woodland pasture, but I don't really have time, so I'll just run through it. We do some ponds and also some invasive species removal. This is just some special management to increase visibility, so the grouse doesn't kind of kills itself on the fences in the woodland. Clearing of rocky slopes. We also bring back some species and reintroduce them back. Some of our colleagues do actually do some hands-on stuff. This is they're trying to get rid of an invasive species of fish. And basically I should probably mention our project manager who's sitting at the back, and he is the one who actually pulls all the strings, but also just threw us in and told us that we are doing the presentation and not him. So so that's Zdeněk Brož, who is the project manager responsible for the part that the Nature Conservation Agency of Czech Republic is doing. And thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions? I don't think we've got time for them, but.